to separate the components of mixture of inks by ascending paper chromatography and find their RF values. Chromatography is the collective term for a set of laboratory techniques for the separation of mixtures. The mixture is dissolved in a fluid called the mobile phase, which carries it through a structure holding another material called the stationary phase.
Ma'am, how can we separate the components of mixture of inks by ascending paper chromatography?
The process of paper chromatography is based on the difference in rates at which the individual component migrates through a stationary phase. The mixture containing red and blue ink is marked on the spot near one end of the filter paper, which is suspended in a cylinder containing solvent. The solvent acts on moving phase, which rises up the filter paper by capillary action. Let's do an experiment to separate the components of mixture of inks by ascending paper chromatography and find their RF values. Our aim here is to separate the components of mixture of inks by ascending paper chromatography and find their RF values. Materials required are Whatman filter paper, gas jar, glass rod, jar cover, mixture of red and blue ink, and distilled water. Procedure: take a Whatman filter paper and cut a strip of dimensions 30 cm into 5 cm. Draw a reference line near one end of the filter paper about 5 cm above from the end. Draw a center line using pencil from the reference line to the other end. Put a drop of mixture on the spot marked at center line using a capillary tube and dry it. Now suspend the filter paper in the gas jar so that the lower end of the filter paper gets immersed about 1 cm in the solvent. Leave the setup for 15 to 20 minutes. After some time, the solvent rises up and separates the two components of mixture at different heights from the reference line. Dry the filter paper after taking it out from the gas jar. The solvent front can be marked above the separate components at different heights. Calculate RF values. Observations: mixture, red plus blue ink, distance from mark, x centimeter, blue ink. Solvent front, p centimeter, RF, x by p, red plus blue ink, y centimeter, red ink, p centimeter, y by p. Result: RF value for red ink is equal to x. RF value for blue ink is equal to x. Precautions: use Whatman filter paper for preparing a chromatogram. Make use of fine capillary tube to spot the mixture on chromatogram. Dry the paper before placing in solvent. Hang the strip erect. The marked spot should be above the solvent level.
Thank you, ma'am. You have given a great knowledge through this experiment.